Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Randy Taylor from the band Hopeful. We talked about his journey with fertility and having 3 kids, having a band centered around hope and faith, starting a music career in his 30s, being from a music family, how he wants to be present for his family, and getting older and getting healthier. I got a real sense of gratitude from Randy over the course of this episode and just excitement for life. And that's such a cool and fun energy to tap into. He's making music, he's a dad, and he seems like he's entering into a chapter of life where he's in disbelief that, hey, this is his life. His band Hopeful just recorded an album, but they don't have a release date yet. But still make sure to find their music on all streaming platforms and give it a listen. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad.
But
Yeah.
dude, I'm stoked to be on here, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Let's start with the most basic question you can do on a dad podcast. How many kids? How many kids do you have? What are ages? All that good stuff.
All right. So it's kind of a dynamic story, but I have 4.
Yeah.
3 are biological. 1 was adopted.
Cool.
The 4th is this is where the story gets dynamic and a little left curveball.
Mm-hmm.
Is my 4th is actually my half sister, and we took her in when she was 15.
Okay.
So she's been with us for 8 years. She's 23 now. So technically she's the oldest, but obviously not by birth. I'm not old enough to have a 23-year-old. I mean, technically I could.
It'd be a very different life path.
If I was 15, you know.
Yes, of
Which,
course.
you know, where I'm from isn't completely out of the normal. I'm from Hawaii. So
Okay, cool.
it's not completely out of the ordinary for a 15-year-old to have a kid, sadly.
Nope.
But so then Carly's 23, and then my oldest son, Tommy, is 14. And then my youngest son is 10, going to be 11. He'll be 11 in the new year, in February. And then we got our sweet little surprise, the cherry on top. We have a little 3-year-old named Ellie, and she's the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Been having a girl, like, after pretty much only having boys. I didn't really know what it was like having a little girl because Carly was 15, and we didn't really adopt her until after she was 18. But to like going from really knowing what it's like to like raise boys from a baby.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden throwing a girl in the mix, and it's just so different and so tender.
Yeah, very much so.
And also I think too, because I'm older. So like when I had my first kid, I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
No.
And then I had my second, I was still immature. I was like, you know, I think I was 28, you know, it's like, or 27. But anyway, I'm just like having a little girl in my like mid 30s, it just hits so different. It's like everything is just like, wait a second, I thought I was done. I thought I was out of the game. I'm still in the game, baby, you know? And then it's like you're doing diapers again, and like it's all coming back because my youngest boy is 7 years older than her, so he was already like
he was done. No, he's like in second grade. Like he's done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a miracle. Honestly, we thought we weren't going to have any more kids, so the wife was on birth control, and we were like, we're probably not going to have any more kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, but got one past the goalie, baby.
There you go, man. Pulled the goalie at the last second.
Exactly.
Dude.
Oh man, but that's my long-winded answer to your short question.
That's cool. I mean, if anything, it's got to be somewhat good that you had a girl after having boys if you have that big of a gap in between your middle and your youngest. Because, like, if you would have had I think it's good whenever something is so new that you just have to give into it. And you're like, I have a new baby. I've done this 2 times before, but it's a girl. So literally all of this is new. I've never been a new dad in my mid 30s. Like, it forces you to keep that, like, no, seriously, man, this is all new. Like, you can't, if your brain's like, you know how to do this, it's like, no, you don't, man. You've never been mid 30s with a newborn. You've never had a baby girl. Like, you got everything where your ego pops up. You're like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Stop it. Stop it.
It's so true. It's so true, man. It's wild. And it was amazing though at the same time because there was this weird thing from when we when my wife was pregnant with our first, I had this vivid dream. And this is, I'm always a little leery of dreams, but
Yeah.
I had this vivid dream. And in my dream, I was snowboarding down the mountain and I got to the bottom of the mountain. I saw this beautiful little girl looking back up at me, and she was about 3 years old
Yeah.
and big enough to be like riding like little skis or something. And I just remember this affection for a daughter that I felt. And I woke up being like, man, I think we're gonna have a girl.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we had a boy, and then we had another boy.
Oh, okay.
And so there was always this longing for like a daughter. I couldn't really explain it. So like when we were talking about being done, because there was a period where we were trying to have a third, and when we were talking about being done, it was like almost like how do you say it? It was almost like a sense of loss. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that feeling that I had that I thought was like, it really just like marked my mind, so it was a trip. So then when we got the news that she was pregnant, first of all, that was a trip because I was
Yeah.
like, no,
Yeah.
I thought we were way done. Especially my wife was done. She was like,
Yeah,
nope, no more.
I'm good.
I'm checked out.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. And then the fact that it was a girl was just like, wow, it was pretty divine. Felt pretty
That's
amazing.
cool. Yeah. Yeah. Or it's like a culmination of a hope and a dream that you
Yeah.
didn't think would come true.
Dude,
We-
so true.
We had our first two. My kids go daughter, son. And so the first two are like 23 months apart. We were
Mhm.
more efficient than we thought we could be in that round.
Right. Yeah. God bless you, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then the third one, it took us like a year almost to get pregnant with him. So yeah, whenever you like are trying to get pregnant and like you're in month 9 or 10 of it and you're just like, oh, is this not on the cards? Like, I guess this isn't in the cards anymore. Fertility is such a fascinating thing to go
It really
through.
is.
And there's so much of it where you're just like, especially if you've already had kids. Like if it's hard to have a third kid, you're kind of like, but I want a third kid, but we've already done this twice. But maybe is it in the cards? Is it not? Like there's so many questions that like make you be like, shouldn't I be grateful that we got pregnant at all with healthy kids? And then you're like, I don't know. I just have a hope and a dream and a inkling that would be nice to have another one, but I can't really control any of this. So
Right.
what do
So true.
I mean, we both have been lucky with fertility, clearly, but it's still fascinating just to be like, oh man, what a journey. Even if you do have a kid, to be like, there's still some like part of me that's like, I can't believe that we ever had the ability to create another human life, let alone
It's
3
wild.
times. So
I know, it's wild. I think about it often. I'm like, I look down at them, I'm like, my goodness, these are
how's
like
that possible?
these are like my little humans. It's
Yeah.
wild.
It is.
And it's crazy because when we had after we had Tommy,
Mhm.
we actually went through like 2 really unfortunate miscarriages.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, one of them was pretty scary because it was a fallopian tube.
No.
So it was
yeah.
a ectopic pregnancy.
Topic. Yeah. Those can be really
so
bad.
she literally got rushed into the hospital with like hours left before they said it was going to rupture.
Yes.
And like that could obviously create internal bleeding, which could,
Correct.
kill her.
Yeah.
And so that it was really scary. And it was like one of the most stressful times of our lives because
Mhm.
we were in the process of buying our first home and we were, mid-20s. And we were in this like long negotiation trying to buy a short sale. And so we were in escrow after 6 months of this like back and forth negotiation.
Mhm.
And so we were in escrow signing escrow the day that I had to rush her into the hospital. And I'm literally signing escrow docs in the surgery
My
waiting room.
God.
And I'm just like, this is so wild. And I'm like being told like, my wife could
Bleed
die,
out.
basically. I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, all
All
right.
right.
This is where faith kicks in,
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay, well, just kind of hold your breath and,
Yeah.
hope we make it through. But yeah, so then having kids after that even just, I think hit so different.
Well, I mean, I feel like is it ectopic? Is that what the word is for it?
Yeah, ectopic. yeah.
Okay. I've also heard a lot of times whenever that happens, then it's like a hysterectomy can happen from it. Like as
Yeah,
if
it could.
stuff gets damaged or some complications happen. And then it's like, okay, actually hysterectomy is the safest route possible, which did you say you had it? Like you had 2 kids, then you had that
No,
experience?
we only had one.
My gosh. Yeah,
So we were like,
man.
no, so they got one, they took out one tube
Yeah.
and that was it.
Dude.
Fortunately, they were able to do that. And Yeah, because otherwise that would have been heartbreaking. And just also even after the fact, it was still like, okay, now you have less odds of getting
Yeah.
pregnant because you only have one tube.
Yeah. There's only the
So
egg dispersing and all that is very different then. Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely like after that having another child. So we had obviously our 10-year-old, second. And so that was like a miracle that, okay, we had another
Yeah.
child. So I think after like a few years of trying to like go for number three and then kind of not having, thinking like, man, it just might be, due to the, fact that now she's in her 30s and, she's already missing a tube. That
Mhm.
it's like, obviously a little bit more dicey the chances, but
Yes.
nonetheless, here we are.
Dude.
And the gray hairs are just slowly starting to come in. I've got only a couple, thankfully.
I'm lucky because I'm tall. I'm 6'4". My wife is 5'1". So no
Nice.
one can see the gray hairs that are on top of my head.
Dude,
So that's
that's
the
amazing,
trick
bro.
that no one
That's
is that's
amazing.
like, do you have gray hairs? I'm like, you'll never know.
You'll never know.
Unless
Step
like a
stool.
kid throws me to the ground for some
Yeah,
reason. You'll never know.
that's
They're
wild.
there. There are very much lots of gray hairs on the top and the side of my head. So
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
that's genuinely amazing that you're able to get pregnant second and third time at all. Cause like
Totally.
I also would have been like, if we were on birth control, my wife only had one tube, I would have been like, there's no way we can get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, oh, like there's also like, I remember this for whenever with our second child, we wanted it to be a boy, or we were like, oh, what if we had a boy that we could have a girl and a boy? And whenever it was a girl, instead we're like, oh, well, we're happy with a girl, but also like, I thought it would be a boy. Like that's also like a moment of resetting of like, this isn't what I thought it would be. I'm really happy. I'm really excited. And this is all great. What do I
Right,
do with
totally.
my totally unnecessary expectation of gender that I had nothing to do with? How
Right,
do I
exactly. Like there's zero control.
Zero control.
You know what I
No,
mean?
it's already decided. It's already done for what their like biological gender will be. But like,
Right.
yeah, in that moment, it's kind of like, oh, wait, it's a girl. Okay. And like, whenever we had our third kid, or whenever we got pregnant with our third, and it was like, by the way, it's a boy. It's like, oh, we didn't know we could make boys. So, okay. I'm sure you guys probably did the same with your third.
That's
You're
how
like,
how we felt. We're like, oh, I thought we could only make boys,
okay, that's not
Because
okay.
we have so many friends that are literally like have all the same gender, all their kids are the same gender, and they're always like, oh, we're gonna try one more time. These are our friends that always end up having 4 or 5 kids,
Yes, yes, yes.
and they're like, just one more try, and they have a 5th boy.
Yeah,
And yeah, so for us, we're kind of like, yeah, we didn't really know either.
yeah.
Also, I think one of the things that my wife and I made a decision in the very beginning, which I think is way more mature than we really were, looking back, being that we were, 23 and 22, um, was that we were not going to care regardless of the gender. But
Yeah.
we obviously, like, I wanted a boy and I wanted a girl.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we were like, all right, whatever we have, we're going to be stoked. We're going to love that child no matter what gender they are,
Yeah.
because that's God gave them to us. And,
Yeah.
but, sometimes easier said than done.
Of course. And it is a weird thing to like, you can't really know how to discuss it unless you've gone through it, I feel like, of like, oh, you really wanted a girl. What'd you have? You had a boy. How'd that feel? I mean, it took like a
Right.
week for my brain to recalibrate, but it's all great and I'm extremely happy. But
Totally.
like that weird dissonance of like, wait, what? I thought it'd be different. It's like, why did you think it'd be different? You like the conception happened and it was decided. That's like, you
Yeah.
just found out later. That's about it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
is your oldest in high school or about to be in high school?
So he's a freshman.
How weird does that feel? Because I cannot,
It's so
I
weird.
cannot,
It's
my
so
kids aren't
weird.
even in middle school yet. So I cannot imagine what it would
Yeah.
feel like to have a high schooler yet.
I don't want to scare you, so I'm going to limit what I tell you.
Yeah, no, it's still, the train is still on the track coming. So like, it's fine.
No, I'm just messing with you. No, it's crazy, man. I think junior high was more shocking, to be honest.
Okay.
Part of it was because of this change in emotion and just like going through puberty and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder. And seeing where our son is now as a freshman, he's just already so much more mature than he was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Mhm.
So but it still takes me a minute to be like, wait a second. I was in high school not that long ago. At least it feels like not that long ago. Technically, it was 20 years ago.
20 years. It's fine.
Yeah, 20 years, not that long ago.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, man, I just remember it like it was yesterday. So yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip to see my kid in high school. And I remember all the lies and all the crap that I was doing. So I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep.
I'm like, I got my eyes on you, boy. But I'm also like, I'm also tripping out because when I was in high school, I was like, man, when I have kids, I'm gonna be the coolest dad. I'm gonna
Mhm.
let my kids, go to keggers and
Yeah.
do all the fun stuff. And now as a dad, I'm like, no, you're not having
No.
access to social media on
No,
your
of course
phone. What are
not.
you
No.
crazy?
No. Yep. And I only gave you a phone. Like, you're lucky you even have a phone. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
because
you can call me and mom. Like,
that's about it.
what else did you want to do with it?
Well, like, we also don't have a good frame of reference because, like, I think I got a cell phone my junior or senior of high school, and
Yeah,
it like text messages still cost like 10 cents. It's like it was
dude,
literally I
so
just got in
true.
a horrible car wreck. Can you please come save me? That was the purpose of a cell phone when we were in high school.
Exactly. That is exactly it. Yeah, I was about the same. I think I was a senior when I got it, and we didn't have the infinite access to
No,
the kind of the scary world wide web that we all now have too much access to.
correct. Yes.
So it's definitely a different responsibility.
Hmm.
But yeah, I thought I was going to be a way cooler dad.
Yeah. See, my parents were very much like, I'm the youngest of three, and they were like, so I feel like my older siblings were the chaos and I wasn't the chaos. But my parents were very much like, if you get good grades, you're good to go to like concerts and stuff. Like I remember
Right.
they let me go to skip a day of school so I could go see Ben Folds up in like Indianapolis. I'm from Indiana.
That's awesome.
And they're like, you're
Nice.
doing well in school, and like, yeah, sure, go for it. And I remember being like, what? And I'm like, but also their agreement was basically take care of what you need to take care of and we'll give you some wiggle room. And I'm like, that's solid. That's not bad.
I think that's fair parenting.
Yeah. But also
I love
now as
that.
like a dad, I also understand like the draw of like being like limiting to some extent because you think
Yeah.
limiting something equals safety. And
It's such a balance, dude.
it's
Isn't
such
it
a freaking
wild?
balance, man.
It's like
It's
where do you land? It's like
yeah, I know.
we've gone so back and forth on the parenting thing. What do we let them do? What do we not let them do? Because it's like, yeah, at the same token, like I want them to be able to experience life for themselves. And I think, we try to model like good values and things like that, but also I don't want to like force it down their throat.
No.
It's like I want to lead them to water. I
Yeah.
don't want to force them to drink water.
Yep.
But I want to lead them and hope that we've raised them on the right path and they make the right decisions. There's also the element of when you're forced to do something, is it really you? Is it really
Hmm.
your decision? And then there's rebellion later. And yeah, I've witnessed all those things.
Well, it feels almost
So
like whenever you have kids and like if you want, like I feel like a lot of people our age were like, hey, you have to play piano. You're forced to play piano. So they played piano for like until high school. And then once their parents stopped forcing them to play piano, they hate playing piano. And like
right,
how I work with the musical instruments I have, I'm just like, hey, there's a guitar over here. There's a piano over here. If you ever just want to tinker on it and mess with it, like do it. And if it seems like it like feels exciting to you, let's get you lessons where like,
yeah, love that
I
approach.
want you guys to be able to explore or know that this is an option. And if it's intriguing to you, let's get you set up with stuff. Where as opposed to like, I feel like a lot of people, whenever we were kids, it was like, you play piano. And it's like, I hate piano. And it's like, I didn't ask if you liked it. I said, you're playing it.
Dude,
And
all
it,
my friends that
yeah,
played piano hated piano, and their moms made them.
yep.
And they were incredible pianists by the time they were, graduating high school.
Hmm.
But then by the time they're in college, they hate it. They never play it.
Correct. I have friends who
you
did that
know,
with like sports where it's like, they played so much travel soccer that by the time I was like, do you want to get a scholarship in college? They're like, I never wanted to see a soccer field again. And it's like,
100%.
I get it. So I get the sense our generation is trying to not do that because we're
Yeah, I
like,
think you're
oh,
so
let's
right.
not burn our kids out on what we love. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny you say that about the instruments because we kind of took that approach. We kind of took the old school approach, like my son, my 14-year-old, he's highly, highly intelligent, like too much for me to keep up with. And he started at like the age of 10, he started teaching himself classical piano and he would watch
what?
these YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd watch these YouTube videos and then he'd start playing Mozart, Beethoven pieces. And by the time I think he was 11 or 12, he was playing Moonlight Sonata, the third movement,
Cool. Casual. Yeah.
and casual. And so when we went to Costco one day and they had like a piano for sale and it was like set up so you could like play it. And he started playing, and this is like an 11-year-old kid playing Moonlight Sonata, the third movement, and a crowd started forming around him watching him play. And so we were like, oh, we should probably get him lessons.
We should take this more seriously.
Because we're like, okay, he probably needs to like, because we're all musical in the family. So we're like, yeah, he probably needs to understand the foundation and the theory of what he's doing, because he's literally just memorizing notes. And so we got him lessons for 2 years, and it went fine, but it was like, it was hard for him to pay attention.
Yeah.
He's ADHD, and it was hard for him to lock in. And then he started to get like, I think he just started burning out on piano. And so after about 2 years and kind of seeing that like even the teacher wasn't as patient with him as I'd hoped. And so we kind of axed that and kind of let him just be like, hey, look, if you want to play piano, we think it's really good for you. It's good for your brain. Like, we'd love you to continue playing piano, but we're not going to force you to do lessons. And he's just back to loving piano again. So we're like, you know what?
Cool.
Like, great. If he wants to start doing lessons again, we'll let him. But like, the kid is insanely talented, and now he knows a good amount of music theory too. And now he's in music production in high school class.
Cool.
And the kid can literally program the whole song of that, like a Moonlight Sonata. He can program that on MIDI.
Stop it.
The whole entire song, every note.
That's
on
insane.
GarageBand on his phone. And I'm like, bro, with the tempo like locked into the click, and metronome, everything. I'm just like, you're a future producer, buddy. You got the brain, man. The kid is like, he's like a Rubik's Cube kind of kid. Like, he solves the Rubik's Cube in under 10 seconds. And, he programs video games. He doesn't play video games. He programs them, He's like, he's that kid.
That's cool.
I was not that kid. I'm like, all right, you definitely pulled some of those brainiac genes from your mom.
Yeah.
So my father-in-law is like a total nerd, really smart. So It makes sense. It makes sense. But it's definitely a different dynamic, and they're each different too. Like my 10-year-old is like, hey, like he loves piano and he loves to play drums, and now he's like the multi-instrumentalist. He's like, now he's trying to learn guitar, and so he's like playing like Black Sabbath riffs and stuff on the guitar.
Yeah.
And then he loves Legend of Zelda, so he got one of those.
Yeah.
He got one of those
ocarinas or whatever.
He got an ocarina, bro, and he's like, and he literally can play like the theme song to Legend of Zelda on the ocarinas. 10-year-old.
That's awesome.
So lots of music going on in this household.
But also though, like if he wants to join, like watching people tour anymore, you do kind of have to be a multi-instrumentalist to have a consistent job.
Totally.
So
yeah, this is true.
I feel like I'll watch like Austin City Limits. I'm like, oh, that guy's playing bass. Oh, now he's playing keys. Oh, now he's playing guitar. Oh, now he's back to playing bass. Oh, now he's a tambourine. Okay, cool. What's that guy doing? He's trying to stay employed.
That's why I'm the front man, dude. I'm not dynamic enough.
It's also
I'm not dynamic enough.
It's a very I don't know, man. I've seen Arcade Fire play like once or twice live, and like watching how seamlessly they switch instruments.
Arcade Fire, love those guys.
Just like, how do you just casually go on a drum kit for this next song? Like, how do you because if I was on stage playing guitar, I'd be like, I just want to know the guitar parts. I'm good. It would be so hard for me to switch my brain into how different like a bass guitar, like so different for every song.
Yeah. That's kind of the cool thing about our band is like pretty much everybody in the band except for me is a multi-instrumentalist.
That's cool.
I mean, I play and sing. I mean, I do other things.
You're not doing nothing, man.
I'm more the songwriter, Gotcha, like I'm a songwriter and kind of the visionary, but when it comes to like the instruments themselves, like I can play guitar and I can sing.
Yeah.
Could I play a little bit on the bass? For sure. But am I get up and play bass in my band? Not a chance.
No. But also though, like as someone who loves Americana singer-songwriters, those guys just stick to that. They're like, okay, I'm going to sing. I'm going to write some really insightful lyrics, going to play some good guitar parts. But the lead guitars I'm going to find to match my lyrics and everything is going to blow you away in a way in which I would never be able to do if you handed me an electric guitar.
That's the beauty of a band, man.
It is. It is. Also, though, like to talk about your son and trying to get him lessons, like as I get older, I realize in what areas of life, like if I, like where I have some natural talent, but I don't have discipline. So like if I would have had some discipline to go with my natural talent, what could that have become? Because there's some things like, oh, I'm talented.
I think about that all the time.
Are you disciplined? Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Or I'm disciplined but don't have the talent. Though it's like I can never, it's really hard to find where both of those things match up at the same time.
It's so true, man. Trust me, I kick myself all the time because I didn't start playing in a band until I was in my early 30s.
Really? Oh, dang.
Yeah, like I didn't grow up playing in a band. You know,
Yeah.
I grew up obviously I have a big musical background in my family, which I could share if you want to
Mhm.
hear.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah.
And that's pretty cool, and that's kind of what led me into music. But I didn't start like actually playing in a band environment until like playing at church when I
Yeah.
was, I think, 33. You
Dang.
know,
Yeah.
and so that was 5 years ago. And so I've been in a band environment now for 5 years because about 2 years into that is when I started the band. And so, yeah, I'm like, man, I've got this natural talent that I always knew was there, but I never had the discipline to lock in and to actually properly learn until I was older. And so I'm thinking, man, if I would have just like gotten lessons or done all this, like I could be a drummer, I could be one of those multi-instrumental
Yeah.
guys, you know?
What were you doing
But
before, like, you started the band? Because, like, do you do oh, sorry, I should ask this. Do you do
that's okay.
music full time, or do you do, like, a side thing, and then music is like, oh, man, where you whenever you get around to, you do music?
Super fair question.
Yeah.
It's kind of both. So
Okay.
music is definitely a means to joy and satisfaction, but not necessarily provision yet. We're a newer band that
Mhm.
we're just now starting to grow a ton on social media, and we've got management, we've got booking. So we're in the earlier stages, but like we're now getting a bunch of like major radio play. So like that's all kind of just now starting. So like in the last year, we went from maybe having 30,000 monthly listeners to now having on Spotify about 150,000, but on the other platforms, so like Amazon and Apple, those are each running close to 500,000 a month.
What?
So
Dude,
we
congrats.
went from zero or very little,
Yeah.
like just people kind of like local people
Mhm.
kind of discovering us, and then some people starting to discover us on socials, and then Spotify starting to pop up here and there, to all of a sudden being discovered by some people who have some big, how do you say, a big influence.
Like clout, basically.
Yeah, and well,
Yeah.
putting us like, so like the guy over at Apple, like the head guy who's in charge of their top editorials. He found our band early this year and reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I don't know if you realize, but this song is something special." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I like to think that about our music, but like, wow." He was like, "No, I think this song has a ton of potential." And I'm like, "Okay, that's so cool." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna put it on our biggest playlist." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. What does that mean?" And so then, before you know it, he's like getting behind us and supporting us and making connections like crazy for us, and then putting us on this platform. We went from getting like barely any daily activity to all of a sudden, now you're getting um you know 100,000 streams a week on that
Yeah.
one song.
Yeah.
And so that's and then obviously it's just been building since he's been kind of really investing in that. And then that has given us a platform to then people are discovering us now. And now other curators like over at Amazon, now they discovered us and now they put us on their big radio station. So it's basically like being on major radio for Apple and Amazon.
Yeah.
And then Spotify is mostly algorithmic. We haven't
Yes.
really connected with anybody at Spotify yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess the long answer to your question is it originally started as just a passion project.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey man, we want to share our faith and we want to share hope, and
Mhm.
we want to do it in this like fun rock and roll kind of way, and we want to do it different than what people are listening to on Christian radio. We don't want to sound anything like what other bands are sounding like in the Christian radio space. And so, we're a bunch of youth group kids and but also love rock and roll music, love a lot of the kind of the early 2000s indie, like absolutely love the Killers
Yeah.
and the Strokes and early Kings of Leon, and in fact, actually how I found out about you guys, I think we texted about this a little bit, but was the band Augustana.
Yeah.
So Dan, you interviewed Dan,
Mhm.
and Dan was like a youth group friend of mine. Like we were really good,
Seriously?
really, really good friends in youth group. So he was a
Yeah.
couple years older than me. We went on like countless retreats together, and he was
That's cool.
the worship guy in our youth group,
Mhm.
and he was one of the guys that like first inspired me with music. because he was writing all kinds of songs, when he was in high school, and he was just like so talented.
Yeah.
And so I like super looked up to him, and he was just like the nicest guy, just like
Very
a big
much so.
brother.
Yes. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
even like him just being on the podcast, like I feel like whenever it texts me, I came in, thanks for coming on. He's like, dude, it was so nice to be able to meet you. So good. Like he's just very personable in a way in which you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's encouraging to talk to you. Can I just text you randomly? Is that okay?
Yeah, he is. I haven't talked to him in like 20 years. We lost
Yeah.
touch, but at least when I was in high school, dude, he was the nicest guy on the planet.
He
And
still
just
has that energy to him. So
it's so inspirational. And so it's actually watching him, like he came back from college and showed us Boston before it went big.
that's cool.
And he'd sit down on a piano and played us Boston in a friend's house. And I just remember being like, that song is magical. And
That's
then
cool.
literally just watching that song take them to the stratosphere. It was super inspirational, And so like even bands like Augustana, even though I wouldn't say sonically there's much influence there, but like definitely inspired me to be a songwriter and to pick up a guitar and start playing. And then, the family thing is kind of fast. So I was raised by my mom and stepdad, but my biological dad, who I did spend some time with as a kid and still had relationship with, his dad was the bass player for a band that played Woodstock in the 60s called Canned Heat.
Okay.
And Canned Heat had this very famous song called Going Up the Country, which most certainly you've heard.
Probably, yeah.
It was the, what do they call it? The unofficial theme song of Woodstock.
Okay.
And it's been in movies and commercials, and it's on viral videos. And
Gotcha. Yeah.
The song was big time. But he also played for a lot of very famous bands and artists. So he played with Eric Clapton in a band called John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. So Eric Clapton was the guitar player. My grandpa was the bass player. He was Tom Waits' bass player, who, Keith Richards was the guitar player in that band. Keith Richards from the Stones. So I've got this legacy, this family legacy. So my grandpa was, a Grammy winner and played with all these legendary acts. And then his brother, my great uncle, was the drummer for the Ventures.
Okay.
And the Ventures played Hawaii Five-0, the Batman theme song, Secret Agent Man, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that was my great uncle was the drummer. So, we had this, just this music legacy. My dad was a drummer, still is. And I think he played saxophone as a kid. And so he always like imparted music to us.
Yeah.
Even though when I say us, I mean me and Carly, my now adopted daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But he, he was always just pushing music,
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I didn't really grow up around him. There wasn't a lot of stability.
Yeah.
But that definitely always stuck with me, knowing like, okay, there's music legacy in the family. And then I always knew there was just something about music. But, in my youth, I didn't really know how to tap in because I didn't have the discipline to sit down and learn. And when I was 17, I picked up a guitar and I started writing my own songs. And I did that for over a decade, off and on. And so I obviously got decent at playing and singing by myself. But it wasn't until, band didn't start until, being in my early 30s at church and being like, hey, I really want to revive this like songwriting thing that I love to do from when the time I was 17, and always wanted to be in a band and never had the chance. And then COVID kind of was like, hey, time to start a band. Let's do a band. Like the world's going to end. Let's start a band.
Yeah, man. But also give yourself some credit because your piece was basically just raising children is what it sounds like. Your kid's pretty young. So I don't know, man. I have 3 kids. I'm a stay-at-home parent. I'm not going to act like I get to 9 p.m. whenever I think all kids are finally asleep. And I'm like, go write something inspirational. It's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to strum a D chord for about 5 minutes with slightly different rhythms and hope that some of it connects with me. And that's about it. So like, make sure you give yourself some grace of like, no, man, you were raising kids. You're making sure everything was stable at home. And like, hopefully now you're in more of a place where it's like, hey, if you need to go on a tour, if you need to fly to Nashville and record at the end and do a live album or something like that.
That's right.
It's not the same as it would have been like a decade ago.
It's so true. And there's a lot of things that have happened that have made it kind of perfect. So like tying in parenting to the whole band thing is, so my parents, my mom and stepdad who raised me, they moved back in town about 2 years ago. They lived up in the mountains, like 10 hours away for about 10 years. So the whole like kind of the initial stages of parenting, they were not here. And then my in-laws, they moved they moved here about 10 years ago. So they were close by. So we had help off and on. But my in-laws now they live 5 minutes away. My parents live like 12 minutes away.
Cool.
So we've got that. And then Carly, who we adopted, is actually a signed artist. So that's a detail
Cool.
that I didn't really share, is that
Yeah.
she's 15 years younger than me, and she started singing when she was like 3.
Yeah.
And she was more singing like more of that soulful inspired music,
Yeah.
something you'd hear from Adele or Tori Kelly
Mhm.
or Mariah Carey or, that kind of stuff. And so she has been singing since she was like I said, like 3 or 4 years old. And when she came here, we got her involved in church, and she started singing at church and just blew everyone's socks off.
Yeah.
And then that was actually what started me in church singing, because they needed like a strong male
Yeah.
vocalist
Yeah.
and worship leader. And so I was like, okay, well, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
And so I jumped on with her. And then my wife also was raised very musical. And she was actually in a band when she was in high school when I met her.
Mhm.
And she played guitar. And as a kid, she learned piano. But now as an adult, she really was like, oh, well, maybe I'll focus more on piano. And so she like retaught herself piano. This was several years ago. And that was when we started at the church band. It wasn't just me, it was me and my family. So it was like,
cool.
so it was me, my wife, and Carly, and then
Yeah.
the kids were always there. And
Yeah.
so music kind of like really works because it's like part of everyone's DNA in the family.
That's cool.
So my wife is now Carly's manager. Carly's signed by Curb Records, which is a major
Yep.
label out of Nashville.
Yep.
And so she's got this whole budding career right now. They've been to
Yeah.
Nashville 6 times this year.
That's cool.
Before this year, we had never been to Nashville.
Yeah.
And then I've been to Nashville 3 times this year. And so all these things are happening with the music, and it's all happening simultaneously. So it's like I've got all of a sudden my music started taking off right at the time she was getting signed.
Mhm.
So it was kind of wild that it all just kind of started happening. Like this year is like really the big year for us. I mean, we were already getting kind of known last year, but this year is when everything really took off. I think our song Wild One is like our biggest song. And now our second song is Everything Is Better. Both of those songs are experiencing commercial success, which is kind of taking us like, oh, okay, this is like kind of a real thing now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're now getting booked to play festivals and shows.
Cool.
And so, there's a lot of, I would say momentum that's building. Hence why we also got a manager and
Yeah. Of course.
he's amazing, and his wife as well. So it's a husband and wife team. And so it's cool. So we're able to do full-time work.
Yeah.
My job, I'm actually the complete opposite of what you would expect a rock and roll guy to be. Is I'm actually in wealth management. So I'm in finance.
Nice. Yeah.
And the nice thing about that is it does provide a tremendous amount of flexibility,
Yes.
and it provides, healthy income. So I've been able to provide and also just kind of invest in the band.
Mhm.
Which, I think if I were to start in my early 20s, wouldn't have been the case.
No, it wouldn't have been.
So
No.
wouldn't have had the legs that I have now, and kind of the maturity to be able to juggle all the different things coming at me and knowing, okay, is this a good move or is this a
Yeah.
bad move? Because there's like all kinds of different people wanting to get you to, hey, you should do this. Oh, you should sign with us here.
Yep.
You should do this. And we're actually in the process of negotiating a record
cool.
deal
Yeah.
right now. So I think being older and more experienced in business too it's actually a great thing. So it's like I did everything kind of backwards, but
Yeah.
I'm not upset about it, and so we take the kids whenever we can, and whenever we can't, my parents or my in-laws are there to help. And we're just going to limit the way that we tour. So like I'm not going to be gone for 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
That's just not in the cards.
No.
And I think the nice thing with just the way things are now with social media and everything, it's like you can actually do you can have a lot of presence as a band without being on the road 300 days a year. Because that's not in the cards for me. Now, I definitely want to be on the road, a good
Yeah.
amount of time to meet people and be able to experience, playing more live shows. And we've played a good amount, but not as much as we want to. And so next year, I think next year's gearing up to be a pretty impactful year musically.
Dude, that's awesome. That's also like, I don't know, man. You create, like, whenever you're a creative person, you don't have any control with what happens after you create it. Like, you wrote the
It's so
songs,
true.
you made the songs, and you put them out there. And then, like, I thank you for describing the reality of that journey of like, yeah, we wrote the song. Here it is. Here's what we think it sounds like. Here's our energy behind it. Here you go. And then suddenly someone's like, hey, I'm going to promote this for you. And you're like, oh, that's really kind of you. Thank you. No, man. This is something here. And you're like, okay, I'm going to trust that you know what you're talking about because you work for Apple. But
Yeah,
like,
right.
let's just see what happens here. And then you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, we have 100,000 followers on Instagram. Like, when did we get 100,000? Like,
It's crazy.
I'd
yeah.
imagine your energy is still that of like, you're doing what you're doing. You're creating stuff that feels authentic to you. And then people start coming along for the ride. And I'm sure there's some disbelief of like, you guys really all want to come, like, let's do this. Like, let's go. But like a year ago, we didn't like, you guys didn't know we existed. So let's do this.
Totally. And I would say like, full transparency, like we wanted to like be successful,
Of
don't
course,
get me
why
wrong.
not? Yeah.
But also like there's still the thought of like, okay, like even if we are investing in the band and we're, spending money on good production and we're, throwing some money at marketing and things like that, like there's still no guarantee music is something that it doesn't matter how hard you try, it might not connect with people.
It might not. Yep.
And so I think that was like kind of a really special moment to be like, and especially as like all the messages start flooding in and
Yeah.
you're just like, hey man, this song, specifically this lyric, like
Yeah.
it helped me in this moment that I was like in complete darkness. And
Yeah.
like, I can't tell you how much your music means to me. And like that right there is like, wow, okay, that's like the why for us. That's like
That's
why
cool.
we do what we do.
Yeah.
And being someone that, and this could be a 3-hour podcast if we're
Yeah.
not careful, but being someone that like I've struggled with mental health and
Yeah.
especially through COVID, and just seeing how important music has been to me, I was like, man, like that's my life purpose. My life
Mhm.
purpose is to do something that puts good hope into the world. And if I have this gift or talent that some people perceive as gift,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna put it out there and hope that it, and there's the risk of like self-exposure and rejection and all these things too that, a lot of people that aren't creating don't realize
Yeah.
or think about. Like
Yeah.
there's that kind of risk, but like also like, okay, well, like I feel like I have to pay it forward because these songs that have been out in the world have helped my heart and have helped me in moments where I really needed it. And yeah, like what a cool thing to be able to do that. And then also just like the legacy of the family of like music and being like,
Yeah.
and like we get to carry that on,
That's cool.
and then we get to like now raise our kids in that environment. And I think for me, music wasn't very healthy because music in my family was kind of like destructive to the family. Like
Mhm.
my grandfather and my grandmother, they split up when my dad was really young. And he was touring the world and partying and doing all that stuff. And so my dad was kind of like left in utter dysfunction
Yeah.
and, grew up in a broken household. And then his whole life was trying to fill his dad's shoes and make his dad proud because his dad was just not very present. And he always just wanted his dad's attention. And so
Yeah.
then when he grew up and also had kids really young because he was 20 when I was born, he was like wanting to fulfill it. Like I don't think it clicked for him that like, oh, now you're a dad, like now you get to be better than what your dad was. Instead he was still in that kid mode of like, oh, I gotta impress my dad, so I
Yeah.
gotta do music and I gotta do music, so I gotta party and all
Yeah.
these things, and that was just what my dad went through, and he had a really rough childhood. So there's a lot of grace and forgiveness. But so for me, it was like music was actually kind of a wound because it was like
Yeah.
I didn't have a relationship with my dad like I wanted. And then I didn't really have much of a relationship with my grandfather.
Yeah.
I got to see him, maybe a dozen times in my life. Like obviously, like I got fun experiences with him. I got to be on stage with him and
That's cool.
yada, yada, yada. But we
Yeah.
didn't have like a grandfather-grandson relationship like I had always wanted. And so for me now in music is like, okay, it's like the art of like, okay, now we're doing it, but like, how do I not repeat
Yeah.
the error of replacing my kids with music,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not, and balancing it so they don't feel like that, And
Yeah.
so that's where it's like bringing them along for the ride and being part of the process. And then, like our upcoming album, which hasn't even been announced yet, but I'm using like a photo of my oldest son on the album cover and just involving them in
Yeah.
the creation process, I think is really special.
Well, I think like how music used to be, I mean, hopefully it isn't anymore. A music career was at the expense of your family, basically.
Right.
And now it's like, I mean, I've talked to a lot of bands where it's like, no, man, we fly out our family. We'll set up like, hey, we're going to go to this area in which we know there's all these towns within an hour that we can go play at. So we're going to fly the families out. So at least like at this point in the tour, everyone gets to hang out with their family. We're going to work in family days. Like that's part of a
Yeah.
discussion for bands whenever they go on tour, if they're lucky enough to be able to afford it and all that, as
Totally.
opposed to like, yeah, I'll see you in 3 months. Okay, it's almost as if like you're in like a military service and you're getting deployed for 3 months and you come back when you come back. But like what you're doing is standing on stage and like being worshipped. So it's very different.
Basically, yeah.
So no, I'm glad you're able to realize already that like, hey, the more you involve your kids, the more you bring your kids to be part of the story without like, I also have some, like, I know I do a parenting podcast, but like, I'm very intentional about my kids aren't the content of it. You know, like I want my kids to know what's happening, know who I'm talking to, but I don't want my kids to be the content that I'm creating. So like, that's always a fun balance whenever you're a creative person and you want your family to be involved. But like, we all know examples of people out there in social media where it's like, are your kids okay with this? Like, are you sure?
Yeah, totally.
So that's a fun balance. Also,
there's such a balance. Like even the album art for my son is like it's him when he was 4.
Yeah,
nobody would recognize him now. You know, like I'm not going to put my kids' faces.
Yes.
You know, for millions of people to see.
Yeah.
Without, you know, like that's kind of creepy, and like it is a balance of like, okay, what's okay to share, what's not. You know, it's like, yeah, I see that too. There's definitely some interesting approaches, and then our music is so different too, because it's like our music is supposed to be all about like, hey, it's not about me, you know. It's like even though you're on stage and it's like, hey, like there is that natural like, oh, you're getting the affirmation of the crowd and all that stuff, like, but at the same time, like mentally we have to be like, no, this isn't for me, this is for like a higher purpose.
Yeah,
we're doing this to make an impact on someone, to point them towards God. So it's such a balance.
Trippy.
Like,
that's trippy.
Everything's trippy, man. It's like it's not natural either. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know, you know, whether or not I know if something's right or wrong. But like I feel like going out and playing is magical, and it's a communal like bonding thing.
Yeah,
but it could very easily be unhealthy as it has been. And I think boundaries are more important now than ever. And I think back in the earlier days, and it still exists in today, a lot of people don't know how to place boundaries. So it's like, yeah, man, like we're all married. So that means, you know, when we're in the green room, there's no girls chilling in the green room with us unless they're like part of the crew and our wives are, you know, involved. There's like those guardrails that you got to kind of have up, you know.
Yeah. Because there's still that reality of like, whenever you think of rock bands in the 80s, what does that mean? Groupies. What does that mean?
No, totally.
You're a Christian rock band, man. You don't go anywhere near that world. Like,
yeah, we don't get groupies, dude.
No,
it's not allowed.
No, and nor do you want them either. But like, exactly. That whenever people think of like, what's a rock star? Like, they usually, I think they think of the 80s. They think of destroying hotel rooms, and you're like, no, man, I'm just trying to like share some good words, connect with some people. And like, if we can afford a hotel room, that'd be great. I'm not trying to trash one.
Right. Exactly. That's so funny and so true. Yeah. It's funny because when we go up to LA to record, we'll rent like an Airbnb, and I never tell them that we're like a rock band, because I'm always like, they won't rent it to me. I'm like,
they won't.
But when they rent it to me and know that we're there on business, which we are, you know, in our own term, then the reality is, you know, they're going to see that we took great care of it, and you know, they don't have to worry. So it's funny. We have this one place that we go back to. They have no idea that we go there and like are recording a bunch of rock songs all day.
Yeah.
You know, when we're, you know, out at the studio. So, but yeah, man, it's fun. It's a crazy dynamic. I'm still learning. I don't have this thing like mastered by any means. I think we'll have to have a conversation a year from now and see where things are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still so cool though. Like it seems like you get energized by like new things, and like whenever things are like not positive, but like whenever people can be in awe of the life that they have. And like, if you're in the middle of that energy right now, like, dude, I created something and it connects with people, and it helps people connect with a higher purpose and power in God. Like, oh, like, does some part of you still like amazed that you have that ability to you? Because I would be baffled that I could help people connect to a higher purpose by singing and writing a song.
I definitely don't take it lightly. And
Yeah.
I also don't take it like it doesn't go to my head.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who's like, I'm always the guy that like thinks that I'm the one screwing up, or I'm the weakest link.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's been kind of like wild to be like, wait a second, like, no, people really like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they really like the way I sing that, or I wrote that lyric, or, and I don't write my songs alone, by the way,
Cool.
full transparency. Like
Yeah.
I'm a co-writer, mostly it's me coming with ideas and bringing in my team. Like some of them are my band members, and I've got a couple other writers that I write with. And
Yeah.
that's been the most like life-giving experience for me. Like my favorite time is being in a room with other people where there's a beautiful creative connection being established. And like that, like the best songs have come out of like collaboration,
Yeah.
but I'm still in awe that when we do put those songs out and it's me singing it,
Yeah.
that somebody's like, you know, says how they were impacted by
That's
it.
so cool.
Like,
Yeah.
like to me, that's like, wow,
Yeah.
what a privilege.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you guys intentionally, when you write a song, because you don't do like the normal like hymn song structure, you do like an actual
No,
like
not at all.
real song structure? How I know it's a dad podcast, but as someone who overanalyzes music,
Sure.
like what made you guys decide to do that? Because you guys don't repeat the chorus 30 times like most church songs I expect to hear nowadays.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, our music is not church music.
Yes, correct.
So I
Yeah,
think
yeah. That's a
I
different
think
realm.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more along the lines of like, like the modern Christian rock bands, like Need to Breathe and
Yeah.
Switchfoot and Reliant K, and kind of like that space, which was more like a song by the Killers.
Yes.
The difference is we follow that type of structure and vibe, but then we bring in like a message of hope. And for me, I'm not always trying to talk about, the blue skies and the red roses and like how life is just so good and everything is good. Even though I do have a song called Everything Is Better.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to like wrestle through like the struggles of like doubt and denial and failure, but then ultimately like guide us back to the fact that there's hope.
Yeah.
And it's really a human wrestle that I wrestle with, of like, man, I'm not good enough. Man, like I failed. Man, like I did this or that. But then there's this hope, and that's what keeps us going. It's so that's how we're trying to spread it. It's like we're not trying to make music that is like something that you would play in church on Sunday.
Yeah,
If
which is a different realm.
if they do sometime, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But also we're not trying not to. So it's like
Yeah.
we're kind of really just like writing what's inspiring us in the moment, and then bringing in the producer and kind of like collaborating on like, hey, this is the vibe that we're getting, and kind of hearing what they're hearing. And it's all like they're all part of the process. So, but yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
It
but
does. Yeah.
That's
No,
the best answer.
it's just like, hey, I basically was asking, how do you like, whenever you think of what's Christian related music, you can either go, I'm hoping this is something that connects with worship teams across the country where they can
Right.
play it on a Sunday service, or like, I don't know, man, I'm kind of just writing songs about my life and how God inspires it, and here we go, which is not as much like, hope someone sings this for the next 20 years in a church.
Yeah, it's definitely different. There's definitely a different avenue. And I think for us, it's like our goal is like, hey, like we want to do something that's relatable for people inside the church, but also relatable to people who are outside the church, or who maybe just are going through a really dark place and they need answers. And this is like a lifeline, or like, like a safety preserve being thrown out to them as like, hey, like don't give up.
Yeah.
Like, don't be done. Life has purpose and you have value. And so that's like our hope for the music, is that it can reach people inside and outside the walls of the church,
Yeah, because ultimately, like, I think most of us, regardless of what faith you ascribe to, want to see a silver lining and want to believe in a bigger purpose to your life. And there are some dark moments in existence. So you need some help finding that light sometimes.
I would say that's part of the human condition, man, for sure.
I think so too. How did it feel? I know you guys did fly out to like Nashville and stuff, and you played like a show at the end and everything. How
Yeah.
was that experience of like, because you said earlier that like you'd never really been to Nashville. It's a town that you aren't like embedded in at all. How did it feel to fly into that town, which is a massive music town, and then like
Yeah.
play a show at like, I mean, I saw shows at the end. I saw bands there. I saw punk bands. I saw lots of bands there. And then it's you
Yeah,
guys playing there
totally.
too.
It's super wild, man, because to think that we are this band that's completely outside of Nashville. And what's crazy is the following we have in Nashville.
Yeah.
Like, which is not necessarily an easy thing or a common thing. Like, it's like Nashville is pretty picky with
Yes.
the music that they start to, take interest in. Man, we don't take it lightly. It was very surreal. The venue was packed to the brim.
That's so cool.
And it's a small venue, but it
It
was
is.
like, this is our first out of town show.
Mhm.
Well, I shouldn't say it's our first out of town club show.
Gotcha.
And in fact, it was our first club show in general. Like, we've never really played clubs. We played festivals and we've played churches,
Yeah. And the end
and
is like
so,
basically like it feels like you're in a dive bar almost.
which
Yeah.
I loved every
It's
minute
awesome.
of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm super stoked. So we're about to do a run of shows here in a couple weeks. We're playing. I'm not sure if you've heard of Franny Cash, but
No.
she's a Nashville native,
Okay.
and she was in a band called We the Kingdom, which is a pretty big Christian rock
Okay.
band.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more on the church music side, but still really creative and like a little bit more rock leaning, I would say. And so she was the female vocalist for that band. And so she started her own project. We're actually on the same management company. So our managers, my manager's wife is her main manager, and he's
Cool.
our main manager.
That's awesome.
But anyway, so we're opening for her at the House of Blues here in Anaheim
Nice.
in about 3 weeks. So on November 18th. And then from there, that next Friday and Saturday that next Saturday and Sunday, we have 2 shows. So we have a show in Santa Cruz
Mhm.
and a show in Berkeley. So the Saturday and Sunday. So it's like that week we're playing 3 shows. We're going to go on the road. That's going to be like our first, like, hey, we're trucking out and loading up all of our stuff and going on a road trip. So that'll be a first for us.
That's cool.
Because so far everything has been fly dates. So
Yeah.
we've just flown to venues or it was local. So I think the furthest we've driven is like an hour and a half to play a show. So we haven't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I said, this is all like the actually playing thing, and now all of a sudden having a demand for our music is
Yeah.
new, and it's fun, and it's ever developing. It's like we don't know what to expect. I
Yeah.
just got a call today for like a really great show opportunity, and then we're in Virginia, and so that's in
That's
January.
far away. That's very far
And
away.
then, and then a week after that, we're already playing Rock the Universe at Universal Studios, which is like the biggest Christian festival in, like, I guess in that area. It's a big deal, supposedly. So yeah, super, super fun, exciting, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
so being in Nashville was wild. It was just, it was very like pinch me.
Yeah.
And literally everybody in the industry was was at our show.
Yeah.
So it was like, no pressure, guys.
No
Just
pressure at all.
everybody in Nashville
Yeah.
is here to see you.
There totally aren't tons of publishing companies that are Christian music focused that are always looking for new songwriters to sign that might be in the room. No, that's not a thing.
Yeah, precisely. And every record label in Christian music.
Every record label, all of them, Warner, all those, they're all there just sitting there in the sidelines being like, do you think? What do you think? What are you feeling? What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. But it was magical. The room was
Yeah.
vibrant. It was sweaty and hot.
Yeah. That's a sweaty venue. That is a sweaty venue.
It's a sweaty venue, but dude, it was beautiful. I loved
cool.
every minute of it. So yeah, these next 3 shows are club shows. So it's like, oh, that was our first, and now we've got 3 more. And so we're excited. We're excited to play different venues,
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I knew a couple people who because I used to so I went to Belmont. I'm a Belmont kid. And
Nice.
would do after graduating, I would run Life Sound for random churches in town just to make an extra $50. And the people who would play the Sunday night church services in Nashville was do you know Patrick Mayberry is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I ran sound he would randomly fill in at the church where I do Sunday nights, and then I'm like, you're
So cool.
insanely talented and gifted, and you're just casually
He's
showing
so
up on a
good.
Sunday night at 7 p.m. to lead worship for a Sunday night service. And I'm like, this town is ridiculous because you would be at a mega church in any other city, and you're at this 100-person church just
I
getting some
love
more
that, man.
experience. So
That's so fun. Yeah, Nashville has been amazing. We have made more friends in that city in the last year than we've made friends anywhere. So it's like Nashville, it almost feels like a home hub for us because it's just the amount of support. And San Diego's is a great city, but I love it. I never
Yeah.
want to move from here.
Yeah.
But in terms of music, to it's very slow to adopt or adapt to new artists.
Okay.
So we definitely have a fan base here, but
Yeah.
it's not our strongest fan base.
Yeah.
And it's like the old strangers in your own land kind of a vibe. It feels like that right now, and I know that'll change. Because especially now, I'm starting to get stopped when I'm out, and I'm like, oh, that's so weird. Like,
Really? What?
yeah, like people know who I am now. It's so weird.
That would be so confusing to me.
It's very confusing. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot I have a band.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
actually
I have a band.
recognize
My
me.
face is out
So-
there with my band name on it, and
Yeah.
people are inspired by me for some
It's
reason. Okay.
So weird. It's so weird. And then they see I'm just a regular, like, lame dude, you know?
You're like, yeah, so I'm currently going back to the grocery because I forgot a couple items.
Yeah. And I haven't shaved in 3 days, and I'm walking like I got a stick up my butt
Yeah,
because my
exactly.
back's hurting.
Yeah, because I'm getting
Yeah, dude,
older. Yeah, it's fine.
That's that guy on Instagram that you think is like perfect or something. Like, no, he's not.
No, he's
actually
not.
an idiot.
Nope. He should probably buy some orthopedic shoes. And
No. He already did buy some orthopedic
they
shoes.
just didn't work yet. Oh no, that stinks.
Oh man.
That
Yeah.
was a fun moment of getting older for me to find a pair of Hokas that made my lower back not feel as bad.
Dude.
And then be like,
don't even get me started, man. Don't even get me started. Bro, it hit me at 25.
are you serious?
So I came down with an autoimmune disease at
Okay.
25.
Yeah.
And it was genetic. So my grandfather on my mom's side was rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, dude.
And I freaking inherited his
Yeah.
thing. I
How
inherited,
nice.
and it was like, so it's not rheumatoid arthritis, but it's a thing called ankylosing spondylitis.
Okay.
So I have had the last, I would say, from 25 to 35 was basically hell,
Yeah.
because it was absolute misery, pain, constant trying to figure it out, never being
Yeah.
able to find, I'd go through maybe a couple month period where I'd be good.
Yeah.
And then I'd have all this flare up issues. I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I had. So I didn't get proper medication. And when I finally did, then it took them forever to find the right medication. And then I became allergic to that medication.
Of
and it was
course
just
you
this
did.
never ending cycle.
Yep.
But now I'm on probably the best run I've been on for
Yeah.
the last few years. But every once in a while, if I misbehave on my diet, dude, and this is where it's like, man, I'm old.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I mess up with my diet, I eat too much carbs or too much
Yeah.
sugar, I get this thing where I flare up. So for the last 5 days, I've been stuck in bed.
Dude.
And I'm literally walking right now, but I've been stuck in bed, and I literally just had to start taking a steroid treatment this week.
No. Yeah.
So, but this happens like once a year. So I'm like,
Gotcha,
all right,
yeah.
I just got to behave with the diet,
Yeah.
So it's an accountability partner. But yeah, the back problems, dude,
Dude.
started way young for me.
That's not fun.
It's not fun.
That's
So.
the joys of acceptance of your own body and its own limitations, and being like, well, doing what I can.
But yeah.
And you know what? Today I can't move very much. Hopefully tomorrow I can.
Well, what's crazy is I didn't even until I'm in my late 30s now.
Yeah.
I was always fairly active. I was an avid skateboarder.
Yeah.
Did some contests and stuff. Dare I say, a competitive skateboarder for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And so I was always in decent shape, through my young adult years. But I also did struggle with, up and down in the weight, and it was always kind of just like I was never a really healthy eater. And
Yeah.
then, I would try to eat healthy, but then I would eat too much, and then on top of that, I never worked out. So other
Yeah.
than surfing and skateboarding like that, obviously that's a workout, but I didn't lift weights or anything. And so
Strength
a couple
training.
of years,
Yeah. Strength
yeah,
training.
no strength training. And so a couple of years ago, I had lost a ton of weight. I finally lost my COVID weight.
Mhm.
And I started getting in the gym and lifting weights and actually being proactive. And so now I'm religiously go to the gym, 3 to 5 days a week and make sure I walk a lot. And that is a game changer. I'm like, dude, why didn't I start doing that when I was in my teens? I'd
Dude,
have such
I
a
know.
stronger foundation.
I think sadly
But-
getting an Apple Watch made me go on walks on a regular basis.
Yeah, because you're holy crap, I only did
Oh,
2,500 steps.
oh my
today."
gosh, that's not good for any human body. I need to get moving. And my wife has
Exactly.
finally talked to me you should really do some strength training, because I'm 38, and she's like, no, literally, scientifically, your muscle just starts to deteriorate unless
You
unless
need
you
it.
stay on top of it. And I'm like, that means I have to eat more protein. That means I have to reevaluate
dude.
how I live my day-to-day life, and I'm
That's
comfortable.
right.
And she's like,
It's
you won't be
changed.
comfortable if you can't lift things in 5 years from now because your muscles are gone.
This is facts, man. So if there's any 25-year-old young dad on here right now
Just do it.
listening,
Get into it,
get
man.
your butt in the gym. You'll thank us later.
Anyway, I know we could talk for another hour or two, so I will start wrapping the episode down just
Man.
in interest of time and all that. Randy, how I end every episode is ask every guest a series of 5 questions. So there's kind of fun, like icebreaker questions. First question is, did you have any backup names for your kids? Like, did you have any names you almost named your kids?
Yeah. Okay. So my oldest, I want to say it was, I think it was Gabriel. I can't
Gabriel, okay.
remember. It might have been Gabriel. Well, it was, so we knew for the oldest, we had 2 names, if it was a boy or a girl. If it was a boy, it was Thomas or Tommy. That was like our number one choice. And then the girl name was Ellie. That's now our daughter's name.
That's awesome.
So we kept that name. We kept that name for over 12 years because she was born 12 years later.
That's sweet.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it might have been Gabriel.
Okay.
Was a backup name. I think for girls, we toyed with the idea of Chloe and Sophia, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think those were like a couple options, but we were pretty settled on the names. Like it wasn't like, oh, we're really indecisive. It was like names that we kind of went through. So I wouldn't even necessarily call them backup names, but if we had a backup name, that was probably it.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because some people are like, I didn't even think of the name until I met the kid. And I'm like, oh, that's bold. I would not know how to do that. Like,
right.
I feel like we went through all the iterations with our kids' names of like, how could this one be made fun of? This is good.
Yeah.
Is this bad? So always fun to hear the journey.
Now that you're saying that, there was one name that was a little bit of left field that I still think is a great name. But back then it wasn't like a super common name. It was Liam.
Yeah, that's it. That's so like everywhere now. Yeah.
Our second child, that was like, Liam was just starting to be like, okay, like, like 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
10, 11-year-olds. Liam was really starting to catch on. So that was a backup name. We went with Levi though, because it was cool. It's kind of a family name.
Nice. Well, it's also like, I know Oasis is having a huge resurgence right now because they went on tour again. But it's almost like all the Gen Xers that listened to all the Oasis, all their kids were getting older and named them after Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, Liam Gallagher. Yep.
That's awesome.
Oh, so good.
Okay, next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
Favorite TV or movie dad?
Or movie dad, yeah.
That's a good question, man. I always liked Tim Allen in
Toolman Taylor.
Home Improvement. Yep. Toolman Taylor, man. I thought he was cool. I'm trying to think. There's a movie. Okay, the movie dad, like the ultimate movie dad for me, is Russell Crowe in Cinderella Man. That's my favorite movie.
I've actually never seen Cinderella Man.
Bro, you got to watch that movie. It's so beautiful, and it's just like set in the Great Depression era. He's a boxer.
Yeah,
he's like a failed boxer that basically comes back out of retirement.
Yeah,
in the middle of like trying to navigate how to keep the lights on for his family.
Cool. Yeah,
incredible movie. One of the most inspiring movies. So that would be my movie dad for sure.
I feel like in the mid 2000s, Russell Crowe would do like 3 movies a year, is what it felt like. He was like Pedro Pascal back then, basically.
100%.
Where it's like, I feel like I already watched Beautiful Mind and Gladiator this year. I don't know if I have a third Russell Crowe movie in me. So
yeah, and then you watch Cinderella Man. You're like, dude, I did it again.
I did have it in me. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Next question: do you have a go-to replacement curse word? Like whenever you want to curse, but you shouldn't because there's kids around. What word do you say instead, or do you do sound effects?
Sound effects would probably be more appropriate.
Yes.
I mean, I do say frick a lot, which isn't necessarily a good word to use around kids.
But you still use it.
I try to abstain from swearing in front of my kids and just swearing in general. But, every once in a while, it does slip.
Yes.
But yeah, that's not like the greatest word. But I've been hearing people using the word heck instead of the F word, but not like what the heck, more like hecking. Like that's hecking cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like we've been getting some like Gen Z kids like texting us that on Instagram, and I'm like, that's a weird way to say that, hecking. And I'm like, is that a thing? Like, that's what we say.
Is hecking a verb? Like I don't.
It's a verb, dude. It's like the F word, except it's hecking. It's very Christian,
gosh.
Yeah. That's about as Christian as you can swear.
It really is. I had a friend who said fluffing. Like fluffing was their go-to. Like, oh, this fluffing stinks. And it was like,
Dude, I think I prefer the F word.
I think I do too. Just say it. Just
Just say it, because now you just got weird.
no, yeah. Sometimes I think we had one guest who said that like their replacement curse one time was they're like, schnookies. Like, and I'm like, make up new words to be replacement curse words. That's better
okay.
than saying
So
fluffing.
that actually reminds me of Tommy Boy. Holy shnikes. You remember that?
Yes, of course, yes.
So I will admit that has been one that I still use, and my 11-year-old thinks it's the funniest, or my 10-year-old thinks it's the funniest thing.
I think all the Adam Sandler and Chris Farley movies I'm fascinated by, because I was definitely allowed to watch them whenever I was like 8, 9, and 10. There's no way that I'm letting my kids watch those movies for the
Dude, there's no hecking way, bro. It's so funny. I tried like pre-screening like Big Daddy, being like, okay, I'm gonna have a boys movie night with my 11-year-old, and I start watching. I was like, there's no way I'm letting my kid watch this movie.
Okay, woman in a bra in the first like 5 minutes, kids peeing on walls.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
Bad
idea.
I don't want to answer these questions tonight. I want to have a fun time instead.
Precisely. Yeah, Luca, it is.
Yes, Luca again.
Yeah.
Next question: what's like one of your favorite kids' toys or activities? So like one of your favorite things to do with your kids?
Okay, let me think about that.
Yeah.
I love skateboarding with my son.
Nice.
That's super fun. And then just like playing catch, you know?
It's so simple.
I know it's as simple as it is. Oh, and then like a fun family game. Can't remember what it's called, but there's this game. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like you have to basically, it gives you a prompt, a question about one of your family members, and you have to like say as many things that fit that prompt about that person. So like asking them what's their favorite this, or
cool,
or what's a thing that if you say might upset this person.
Yeah.
And then everybody has to say what they think it is. And it's like, it's funny. It's also kind of risky.
Yeah.
But it's fun because it's like this bonding. I can't remember the name of the game, darn it. It's going to bother me. I'll text it to you.
You're good. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like this bonding thing. So it's not necessarily a toy, but like an activity. I love that. There's some fun games that we like to do.
Nice. And then last question is there like a moment of your kids' lives that you're most excited to be part of, or something you're really excited to see them experience in their lives?
So future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, man, I think like seeing them find their passions is really exciting. Like obviously, like any dad, I want to see my kids get married someday and, have kids. That's way down in the future.
Yeah.
I think just seeing them lock in with their passions is super important to me. Like I'm starting to see my 10-year-old is really becoming passionate about art, and he's like an incredible sketch artist. And I'm like, wow, just watching him like come into his own on that, and then watching my oldest son getting really into programming. I mean, it doesn't really answer your question.
No, it's more like vibe and hopes for your kids is kind of what I'm asking. Yeah, I'm trying to get at here. Yeah.
Like I just want to see them thrive in something that gets their wheels turning. Like that's I think the thing that's most exciting. And then obviously like, with the youngest one, I'm like, I just want to savor every minute. So I'm not really like, I don't want to think about her walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
Although someday that's going to be really important, and I hope to be there for it. But yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say future wise. I think just knowing that they're doing well and seeing them find their thing and thriving in that, whether it's music or art or whatever it may be, computer science, like whatever that thing is, and just seeing them being passionate and being fulfilled in that, I think is super important to me.
That is generally, man, that's like one of the most common answers is like, man, I'm not sure. I just know I'm trying to be mentally present for what's in front of me. And I'm just hoping to be here and be in this moment. And that's like, I think that's the most real answer. It's like, what makes you excited to be part of any of this, man? It's so cool.
Yeah. And it's also the biggest like struggle too, because of, well, also just in my life, like I've got so many things trying to take my attention that like being present and intentional with my kids, it's not easy, but I love them so much. And I want to be there. I want them to have memories of me and us doing and being together. And so I am very intentional with making sure that I'm communicating with them every day as best as possible and looking them in the eye and making sure that they feel seen and heard. And sometimes I'm not as good at it as other days, but
Yep.
it's interesting because I'm in such like a wide age range. So I've got like the really little one who she's not really worried if I'm, necessarily like, having these heart to heart because she's like in her own little world.
Yeah,
But,
pretty much. She's
and
7. Yeah.
I've got the 14-year-old who's like, or 15-year-old, 15 now,
Yeah.
15-year-old. And he's like, you know, wanting to make sure that like I'm actually listening to him when he's talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, dynamic answer for a dynamic question.
That's right. No, man, it's, I think especially when you have more than one kid, it is that reality of like how you talk to your 15-year-old is clearly different than how you talk to your 7-year-old. What your 7-year-old wants is clearly different than what your 15-year-old wants. And then you're like, wait, do I have a 10-year-old also? Oh man, what did I miss out on?
Yeah, exactly.
Only other thing I have for you is just moment for like self-promotion. How do we find your Instagram, find your music? If you have like a new album, like if you have new music coming out, all that good stuff,
Dude, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I'll give a quick little plug. So all of our social media handles are at Hopeful the Band. Our actual name is just Hopeful with a period, but all the handles are at Hopeful the Band. And so Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it.
Yeah.
And then we've got we're actually dropping a little mini Christmas EP this Friday, so that's super fun.
Nice.
And that is just 2 songs, one original, one covered a Tom Petty Christmas song.
Yeah.
And both are pretty rocking. And then, yeah, in the new year, just stay tuned because we've got a whole album that we just finished and we're still working on the rollout and how that's going to look. We're probably going to start releasing music in January, probably middle to the end of January. So we're going to have a lot of music next year because that's, at least 11 songs on the album.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of what's next for us, other than some local shows, which you can find us at Hopeful the Band, like on www.hopefultheband.com.
Mhm.
And yeah, we try to answer every message on Instagram and TikTok. We probably don't always succeed at it, but so if anybody wants to reach out or drop a message, we're always stoked to meet new people.
You're like, we're trying. We really are. We really do want to connect with you guys.
We're trying. Earlier, it was a lot easier. Now it's starting to get a little bit harder. It's we still try to be really intentional.
Yeah. What a good problem to have. Too many people want to connect with you. It's like, okay, that's new for my existence. Here we go.
Yeah, my brain is like, I'm trying to settle all that, how that works. Okay.
Of course.
Okay. So if I don't answer everyone, am I failing every single person I don't answer?
Nope.
Well, no, not necessarily because I'm only a human.
Correct. Yep.
But also like part of me is like, I care so much and I'm like, I'm a people pleaser.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, I want to answer them. I don't want them to feel bad. It's crazy.
I get that. But it's like, what'd you do instead of message with 20 strangers potentially? I talked to my daughter instead. Yeah, that's better. That's
way
better
more
connection,
valuable, man.
Yeah,
that she's going to get more value out of that than they're going to get from me responding to their
and being
message.
like, thank you. I appreciate you.
And I think there will come a time, where it is becoming too overwhelming and it's starting to interfere with the art.
Yeah.
And so there comes a time, I think, which is natural for every artist to kind of step away from it a little bit and only pop in and out every once in a while just to like send a message randomly or but have someone else kind of on the team helping to manage it. And it's, it's not for wanting to become untouchable. It's not for wanting to become, overly popular or famous or whatever they want to call it. It's just more of it's like, how can I stay healthy? How can I do this and
basically
stay healthy and be there for my kids?
Yep. I get it.
But dude, it's so great being on here, man. Like I said, we could talk for hours.
We could. I appreciate it a ton.
Devin, thank you.
Thank you.
That's right.
Sweet.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
Devin. Great to meet you, man.
You too.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
See you next time.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to go to neverafacenetwork.com to learn more about them.